Hello viewers, this is Ranjana Ma'am and you are watching, yes, mine as well as your channel. And today, can you guess what I have brought in store for you? Well, there is no need to ask you to guess because I have already given it in my thumbnail. Yes, a much awaited video. You've been asking me for my probables. See, by probable I mean, I hope you understand what probable means. It may happen, it may not happen. And I always clarify that I am not the paper setter. Deducing on the last few years' questions the way they have come, we can make a deduction. Observing or examining the last few years' question. So, your prose and poems, that means the treasure trove, this is your second year. But Merchant of Venice had been brought back or reintroduced in 2015. So as such, looking at the question papers, board papers I mean, of 2015, 16, 17, 18 and 19, we make our suggestions. Whoever, not only I, all the teachers who put up their suggestions in YouTube, they do in the likewise manner. But after all, everything depends in the hands of the boards. We can deduce, but we are not God, nor the paper setter to tell definitely. So, as I was going through, not only that, I was going through I was waiting so long. Why? Because I was going through many of the mock papers or what you call pre-boards in many schools. In many schools, you call it the selection. So I was waiting for those papers to come, and based on that, different schools have given different types of question paper for the selections. I mean the pre-boards, just before the board, the exam. Different schools call them in a different way. So after that, I came to the conclusion, see, in your poems, there are 10 poems, you are all aware. And out of it, 3 of them have come last year. So that is number 10, 9 gold medals. This has come in 2019. The Patriot has come in 2019. And After Blenheim, that is number 4. These 3 have come in 2019. So in that case, I wouldn't say there is no chance. Very little chance of their coming. A 99% chances of not coming, 1% is always there, because ICSE you never know. In ICSE there is the tagline, everything is important in ICSE from A to Z. So because quite a few of my students, they have said, ma'am, these have already come. So yes, that is true to some extent, or rather to a greater extent that is true, that there is less possibility of its coming. But if you go by the question papers of Merchant of Venice, you will find that in 2015 and 2016, the same scenes were repeated. The same scene, I mean Act 4, Scene 1. So in 2015, when Merchant of Venice was reintroduced, earlier also there was Merchant of Venice, and then 2015 board papers, so Act 4 Scene 1 had come. Again in the very next year, 2016, it was repeated. So since then, before that I always said that no, they are not repeated 100%. But since then I learnt a lesson. And after that, I always say 99% chances and 1% I leave for the boards. So in that case, these 3, yes, 99% chances of their not coming. So we can, one more thing, last year we were banking on Indian poets and Indian authors. So yes, Indian author had come. Anglo-Indian, but so what? Indian. The Face in the Dark by Ruskin Bond. So we were very, what should we say, confident that the Bengal sellers would come. Why? Because Indian poet, but it did not come. So in this year, it may be that Indian author will not come. Indian poet will come. Poet or poetess, as you call it nowadays, we don't say ESS, I mean poetess, we say Indian poet, Sarojini Naidu. So I will go for the bangle seller, Sarojini Naidu, an Indian poet. So the first three, the heart of the tree, the cold within, and bangle sellers, I would suggest that one should come from these. So the cold within, bangle sellers, and heart of the tree, one should come from here. And then you have television and daffodils. Television and daffodils both are by very famous poets. Roald Dahl, daffodils, last year also we had thought it would come William Wordsworth. But last year the ones which had come, the authors were not, I wouldn't say the authors were so famous, with the exception of course of Lord Robert Browning. So the others were not so famous in comparison to Roald Dahl and William Wordsworth. But they did not come. So here the question of famous or very famous or not so famous is not important. What is important is that we will try to depend on our own intuition. So remove the last three and I will suggest the 7 which are remaining. Study all of them. You can at the most leave one. Why? Because you don't need to attempt all the 3 questions. Well, if you want, you can do it. In many schools, though, they say that don't go for a full section. Try to distribute your select from all the 3 sections. But in many schools, they say that you can attempt one full group. So if you are strong in your English, you can always go for all the poems. And if you want, you can leave. Even if it comes, then you have the option to leave it. But there are chances it might not come because there are 7 out of it 3. So my first choice is the bangle sellers, then television and daffodils. And I know why the cage bird sings. So from the first 3, I have also seen one pattern. Here though this one has not come in that way. But in your prose you will see many times the serial numbers may be 2 and 3. They come one after the other in the same year. Like if you remember last year's question paper, All Summer in a Day. And then which one was it? My Greatest Olympic Gold or whatever. So 9 and 10, both of them came. I have noticed this pattern also in ICSE, that one after the, not in ICSE, even in ISE, that 1 and 2, serial number wise they come. So in that case, yes, we can go for the cold within, bangle sellers, heart of the tree. From these, take one. At least one is definitely coming. There is no doubt about it. And then television and daffodils, from this one should come. So the last one which is left out is Abu Ben Adhem. Abu Ben Adhem is an easy poem, and yet at the same time it teaches a moral. It is a religious poem also. So you can go for it. So I would suggest my first list ones are Abu Ben Adhem, bangle sellers, and the cold within. Okay, and after that I will also give some more chances to television and heart of the tree. So I am giving you 5. I am not saying that they are coming. I am just telling prepare these better than the rest. Even the other 2 might come. I am just trying to reason out. Bangle sellers, last year since Indian poet did not come, that is why I am giving it a priority. But I am not the paper setter, I always tell. And at the same time, if you prepare all the 7, that you are always on the safe side. And I always say in ICSE, nothing should be left. You will study all the 7 you have just done in your selection or pre-boards or whatever it is. And so I don't think you have to prepare much. There are some people who just go for suggestions and that is not done. They think, oh, ma'am has given these, so we'll study only these 3. And then they are for a shock when they see their papers, because ma'am never said that these are the 3 coming. We are trying just to make a suggestion. Suggestion and certainty, there is a difference. Certainty to only the paper setters can tell, and they are not supposed to tell. So we are just trying to reason out, leaving the 3 out of the 7, which are the ones which are probable. And why did I go for bangle sellers? Because last time, though Indian poet did not come, but yes, Indian author had come. What if an Anglo-Indian? So this time I am banking on the bangle seller first. It may not come even this year. Yet. This is how suggestions are made. You can go to the other sites and also see. They also do it in the same way. This is how we deduce. So from the first 3, 1 should come. Television and daffodils, I am going that I don't. Both may come. This is ICSE. Both may come because both are important. And rather television, daffodils, and I know why the cage bird sings. So this is one section. And one is left out, that is Abub and Adhem. So, first choice, the bangle sellers, cold within, television, I know why the cage bird sings, and Abub and Adhem. So, heart of the tree, I have left out television, but still they may come. So, it's my suggestion. So, don't take it that they are the ones coming. Please, please, please. My suggestion, my advice is go for all the 7, prepare them well, but prepare these much more. Give more effort to the ones I am talking about. So out of the 5, 3 should come. At least 2 those should come. So after this, we are going to the prose section. In prose section, of the 10, you all know that my greatest Olympic prize, number 9 and number 10, All Summer in a Day, they had come last year. So this is what I was trying to tell you, one after the other, serial number 9 and 10. This, I have noticed this pattern in the last few years. Quite often they come. So the syllabus has changed, but when there was the old syllabus also, one after the other, they have a tendency. So my greatest Olympic prize, All Summer in a Day, and Pace in the Dark, that is number 5. So from the first 4, Chief Seattle's Speech, Old Man at the Bridge, Horse and Two Goats, Hearts and Hands. From these 4, all of them are very, very important. At least 2 should come. And see, we are trying to oscillate between a Horse and Two Goats and the bangle seller. Bangle Seller, Sarojini Naidu, Horse and Two Goats by R.K. Narayan. So both of them very famous in their own fields. R.K. Narayan, one of the best writers India has ever produced. So Horse and Two Goats, but still, since last year an English author had come. That is why this year I feel that maybe a poet, Indian poet might come. And in that case, Chief Seattle's Speech, Old Man at the Bridge, Hearts and Hands, Old Man at the Bridge and Hearts and Hands, both written by very famous authors. Ernest Hemingway. Then you have, who else? O. Henry, Hearts and Hands. So from these, at least 2 should come. I am giving more stress on Old Man at the Bridge and Hearts and Hands. More stress, I didn't say definitely. And from Angel in Disguise, Little Match Girl and the Blue Bead, just see there is something common. Have you noticed what? What do I mean to say when I say there is something common? All these 3 chapters, they have a small girl involved and her difficult life. Like the Blue Bead, we have Sibia, a small girl, a child woman. The Little Match Girl, just see what a miserable life she led. Poor girl. She was afraid to return home because for fear that her father would beat her up because she has not been able to sell any matchsticks. And an Angel in Disguise, Maggie. what a life she led. Her mother suddenly dies and she is crippled, she is handicapped, till she gets into the arms of Mr. Thompson and goes to their house, and she becomes an angel in disguise for them. But before that, her life was miserable. So in all these three stories, we have a small girl who is the main protagonist. So I don't think two should come from here. So from these three, any one should come. So this is my list of probables for prose. Chief Seattle, Old Man at the Bridge, Horse and Two Goats, from here to. So if you want to attempt to, I think if you go for all the four, at least two should come. And if you want to attempt all the three from the prose, go for these three. One should at least come. The Little Match Girl, An Angel in Disguise, and the Blue Bead. One will come from here. I think so, not two. Why? Because I gave you the reason. And after that, if they go for another one, I have nothing to say. But this is how we try to reason out. We try to think in the way the examiners think. But they may randomly set the paper. It's their discretion. It's their choice. We have nothing to tell them. So now we go to the most important part, Merchant of Venice, which is really a sort of fear to many of my students. So I have been doing some homework and I found that in 2015, Act 1, Scene 2, Portia and Nerissa. Act 1, Scene 2 had come, and Act 4, Scene 1. This was the first year after Merchant of Venice had been reintroduced in the ICSE syllabus. 2015 was the first year, and they got Act 1, Scene 2 and Act 4, Scene 1. Again, as I said, I have found that they repeat, if not in the prose and poems, but in Merchant of Venice, I have evidence. So 2016 again, Act 3, Scene 2 and Act 4, Scene 1. So in Act 4, Scene 1, this time it was the mercy speech. Then 2017, Act 1, Scene 3 and Act 2, Scene 9, the Prince of Aragon. So the important scene of Act 2 has come. One important scene, Act 2, Scene 9. And 2018 again, Act 2 has been repeated but not the scene. Act 2, Scene 7 and Act 5, Scene 1. And last year, so that is why in before, when I gave my probables, last year I had said that Act 1, Act 3 and Act 4 are important. Why? Based on 2018 where Act 2 had come and Act 5 had come. So there were 3 acts which were left untouched, and last year was the first year when 3 questions were being introduced in Merchant of Venice. Last year underwent a change. So earlier it was 6 questions, 2 from each section, and from last year it became 3 from each section. So as a result, I said that Act 1, Act 3 and Act 4 are important. So now what this year? This year naturally Act 2 and Act 5 are very important. Act 2 and Act 5. And in Act 2, which scene? See, Act 2, Scene 7 has already come in 2018. Act 2, Scene 9 has come in 2017. In that case, should we deduce that the remaining scenes are important? Like the Venus's Pigeon, Act 2, Scene 6, Act 2, Scene 1, the Prince of Morocco, though Act 2, Scene 7 has come, and that is also Morocco. Why not Lancelot Gobbo this time? Because someone was asking, ma'am, is Lancelot Gobbo Act 2, Scene 2 important? So let me tell you, A to Z is important. And you have already studied it for the last 2 years. Here you are trying only to give a finishing touch, a little bit of polishing to your preparation. Which one to study a little more? So don't tell me that, ma'am, you told this and that is why we didn't study the others. You have studied them. Up till now you've been answering right from class 9. So I am only suggesting that if these might come, so give them a little more polish, nothing more. I'm quite apprehensive. Last time I said it was probables, but I was mistaken, wrongly understood, and a lot of abuses. So I'm not going for it this time. I said these are probables, and I hope you all understand what probable means. I know you all are intelligent students and you all will understand. So in that case, one act is remaining. Which one will come this year? So my suggestion is, since Act 2 and Act 5, they have come in 2018, not in 19. So these two are probable. Then which is the other scene? Which is the other act rather? So Act 3, Scene 2 has come twice, but there are other important scenes also in Act 3, like Act 3, Scene 1, Shylock's speech, very important, to bait fish withal, that speech. So I'm not saying that speech will come, but Act 3, Scene 1, Act 3, Scene 4, Scene 3, Scene 5, all of them are important. So it's not necessary that Act 3, Scene 2, since it has come last year, it may not come. Act 3 can again be repeated, because whichever scene, 1, 4 and 3, one has to be repeated. 2 and 5 had not come. So these two are not being repeated, but whether it is Act 1 or Act 4 or Act 3, one act will be certainly repeated. So Act 3, why am I going for it? Because Act 1, Scene 1 came last year. Then Act 1, Scene 2 had come in 2015, and Act 1, Scene 3. That means all the 3 scenes of Act 1 has come in 1 year or the other. In that case, which is more probable? And even Act 4, Scene 1 has come twice. Act 4, Scene 1 has come not twice, 3 times. Act 4, Scene 1 has come in 2015, 2016, 2019. So that in that case, I can infer that Act 3 can come. So in that case, study all the 5 acts, but Act 2, Act 5 and Act 3 should be given more importance. Because I always say, nothing is unimportant in ICSE. It is not like many boards. Now, last year's question unimportant, or every alternate year, whatever comes, maybe in 2000 alternate years, they are repeated. No, it's not like that. So, still, my deduction for Merchant of Venice is Act 2, do it very well. Act 5, there is only 1 scene. Act 2 has 9 scenes. So, even if Act 2, Scene 7 and Scene 9 have come, they can be repeated, because Act 4, Scene 1 has been repeated. Act 3, Scene 2 has been repeated. So, why not Act 2, Scene 7 or Act 2, Scene 9? Since they are the casket scenes, there is every possibility of their coming. So don't think that just because Act 2, Scene 7 and 9 have come, you can leave these 2 scenes and go for the rest. No, because I pointed out why not. Act 3, Scene 2 has been repeated. Act 4, Scene 1 has been repeated. The particular scenes only. So Act 2, study all the 9 scenes. 1 is certain, but all 9, please do. Some of them are very small scenes. You don't need to make much effort. But they may be small, but the questions may be related to what happened before or what happened after. So, keep that in mind while you are preparing. So, still study Act 1 also and Act 4 also. They might play a mind game. They might try to check whether you have studied all. Yeah, the boards. They might want to know whether you have studied everything or you are leaving something which has come. You never know. These people are very tricky, the examiners. So my suggestion is always prepare everything and go for the suggestions only to polish yourself. A little more effort, a little more dedication to particular scenes. So I hope I have been able to give you your suggestions which you had been asking for. I did it in a very scientific manner, trying to give you the reason why I am asking you to do these, and at the same time reminding you that everything is important. If you want to do well or score better marks, then give more efforts to these, because if they come, you all are lucky. You all are blessed if they come. And if they don't come also, you won't be chewing your pen there and thinking, oh my God, I didn't study this. So, in order to do well, there is no shortcut to success. Shortcut to success means success cut short. There are some students just before the exam times, they search the YouTube videos. Oh, these are the suggestions. We'll study only these. No, in that case, don't think you'll get good marks. Y'all are good students, I know. I have read your comments. Y'all are dedicated students. Y'all want to give your best. So, in order to give your best, you can't go by these slipshod methods. Study very well and give more efforts to these. And in my next video, I will again, you have asked me, many of you, how to attempt the answers. How should we write the answers perfect for ICSE? So I will also solve one test paper and try to give you an idea for a 3 marks question, how much you should write and how to begin your question, which is the right approach, and how much should you write for your 4 marks question. So don't worry, Ranjana Ma'am will be back with you soon. And for the time being, let me bid you goodbye. Have a happy time and make your books your friend, because exams are knocking at the door. And you must be wondering why Ranjana Ma'am didn't ask, have you subscribed to my channel? If you haven't, please do, and press the like button if you have liked my video. Goodbye.